Everybody, this is Master Corporal Moore. I'm going to bring a bit of a quick comparison for you between the AMX 50B French Tier 10 heavy autoloader tank and the T57 American heavy autoloader tank. Now in some ways they're very similar. You've got 120 mil guns for both, 4-round clips. So basically each clip is going to do about the same amount of damage. That being said, there is a few differences in the guns, and that's where I prefer the 57. You see, the 57 has a 2 seconds per round unload speed, as opposed to the 50B, which has 2.5 seconds. That means over the space of your entire magazine or drum, the 50B is going to take an extra second and a half to unload his ammunition. The 57 also has the advantage in the drum reload time, having taken only 25 seconds, and with perks you can get that down to under 22 seconds to do a complete reload of your magazine. As to the 50B, you're looking at 30 seconds, and with all your food and perks and everything you can get that under 27. So what does that mean damage wise? The 50B, and I believe stock trim, is going to do 2,560 damage per minute, as opposed to the 57, which is doing over 3,000, almost 3,100 damage per minute. Now get all your perks in there, you can do quite a bit of extra damage over and above that. Now the 50B has its benefits as well. You see, the 50B does have much better mobility. It also has a different ammo type, so you have AP, APCR with HE. The APCR is great against angled tanks. It also has great velocity, so if you're trying to take out fast-moving mediums, specifically those wily Russians that are giving you a hard time, this tank is the one that you want to use to do it. You're going to be able to flex fast enough to be able to deal with them and have the right ammo type for it. However, if you have big, heavy tanks giving you a hard time, then the 57 has the advantage again. In the case of the 57, there's the heat ammunition, which does not lose penetration over distance and is great against hard targets. That being said, if you're again going up against Russians, in the case of a IS-7, you are going to struggle when you're trying to penetrate them from a long distance if they're angling their armor correctly, get hull down and in a strong position. However, if you can get up close and you can pick your shots, you can actually put them through quite easily. So, in the big debate, I'm going to say I prefer the 57. Well, yes, I have the 50B, and I think it's a great alternative to the 57. It is very role specific. It's got that flexibility that's great across the field. But I think, again, just for my personal play style, I really like the 57. Now, I'm going to go through a quick replay here with my 57. In a platoon right now with Crazy Colonel and Obsidian Death. Obsidian Death is currently trying to get his Medium Tank 15 mission done, where he has to do 2,000 damage against TDs. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get over into this area here. This is one of the advantages of the 50B. The 50B will be able to get into position much faster and get prepared to shoot. Well, let's see how that would actually work out.
Let's get this show on the road.
I don't have direct comparison of the 50B sitting here to drive beside it to really see how it would do. However, we'll have to make do and make some assumptions based on what we know between the two tanks. So topping out, or averaging somewhere around mid-30s for speed isn't bad for a heavy. It still has good mobility. And you can see all the mediums and lights that I've got quite a ways ahead of me. They lit the 140 up there. Probably about this time I'd be ahead of the E5 or caught up to the E5 at the very least. And hopefully I wouldn't have taken that shot. So at this point the 50B would be able to crest this hill and there's the tail end of the 140. Had I come up there a little bit quicker, more than likely the 140 would have been able to spot me. As it is, the 140 doesn't realize that the T57 is where it is. So let's see how I capitalize on this. He pops out, I put my first shot right through his wheel. You see, I re-aimed specifically for it. I put a third one in, and somebody finishes him off. Now, I did take a hit there, a small one, especially compared to what I just put into him. 3 hits, that's 1,200 damage, or 1,186, and somebody finished him off for the other 800 some odd hit points. So, had I been in 50B, he would have seen me, and he probably would have been a little less excited about popping out. But let's see what else I can do here. So I do a force reload. Now unfortunately my timer isn't actually working on my replays here, but that was at about 35. So based on my numbers, it should be around 10 seconds left that I would be reloaded. The 50B would be about 10 seconds after that. So there's my reload at 13:15.
It's a trap!
And did quite a nice job there. I auto-aimed my first shot, which was a big mistake. But I knew I could unload an entire clip into him before he could do a reload and get a second shot in. And that's key. Would I have been able to get that entire clip off using the 50B? No. However, that 50B wouldn't have wasted the first shot, because more than likely I would have been using APCR, being prepared for, an I-7 coming around the corner. But the 50B again wouldn't have been loaded, so it's kind of a hard comparison to really put in here. So looking at this, I'm now down about a third of my hit points in 2 shots, but I've done 400 hit points more, or 200 hit points more than what my max hit points are. So if this was to end right here, it wouldn't be a bad battle. So I come up, and there's the E5. Try to do a quick snap into his turret, or his cupola. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. I push him forward here. I'm making him come out to me, which allows me to put 1, 2, 3. So I missed 1, bounced 1, but penned 2, and got a little bit of arty. Now at this point, I was being told by my bat chat friend to back off because of the Waffenträger. I think he was on reload, so he really couldn't do a whole lot. I'm almost reloaded here again. The E5 is on low health. So I step out, put a well-aimed shot, and the bat chat takes him out. So I've got 3 shots left. Now this is an actual decent use of auto-aim. He's in the open, he's moving, and I'm trying to do a quick bend around the corner. So there's another kill for the bat chat, cleaning up my damage there. And he's starting to wonder where the Waffenträger is, and I pretty much called it just before he killed him that he's just under the ridgeline here. So again, I'm almost loaded. And that's the one big thing that I want to point out, is the 50B wouldn't be reloading this quick. He wouldn't be ready for that next round of ammunition or the next round of shots to come out. So I come rolling over. Thankfully the Waffenträger can't get his gun up on me. And I push down. Gently. Hoping I don't track myself or take damage in any way. So I go up to try to get shots on the IS-3. Had I realized that I wouldn't be able to do this, I should have done a forced reload already. Now I do apologize, people. I am using a lot of heat in this. I'm not a big fan of using this much premium ammunition. However, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of choices. I had this set up for Clan Wars setup and wasn't really planning on going into a platoon battle like this. So at this point I realize I've done almost 6,100 damage. And I start asking in TeamSpeak channels, how much do I need for an ace tanker?
It's a trap!
So somebody says that I need a lot more than that. And again, this is where a 50B's mobility would be much more of an advantage, because I'd be able to push forward here and try to go clean up these last few kills. unfortunately I have to trundle in this little T57. And as you can see, my buddy Obsidian Death just got a kill in his STB1, putting him at 5. That'll come into account here in a second, as I currently am going after my ace tanker, and he is going after a top gun. So I put 1, 2, 3, and I should have held my shot here. He would have had that kill, and he would have had a top gun. And had I been a little bit more patient with my last round, I could have actually put that round into the 53-55. Hindsight's 20/20, but 7,276 damage is nothing to balk at. It was worth an ace tanker, of course, high caliber, a few other awards. I actually made money even though I slung a lot of premium in that one. And it's just a matter of I made a lot of those shots count. It's quite worthwhile. So, hopefully you see some of the benefits to the 57. I totally respect the 50B. I haven't had a lot of luck in it in pug matches with it myself. I've used it in Clan Wars quite a bit, which doesn't show in my stats, and I understand the uses for it, but there's also those times where I do have to say the 57 has the advantage. So, judge for yourselves. Somebody can feel free to draw a comparison on the other side and let me know. Maybe we can platoon up and do some competition sometime. Anyway, keep your hull down and keep on tanking.